Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Thierry de Montbrial, the Executive Chairman of French Institute of International Relations and founder and chairman of World Policy Conference. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me here today. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's an honor to be speaking at the World Policy Conference once again. It's always a pleasure to share my thoughts with you all and exchange ideas. I had the chance to look at the agenda, and I believe the sessions and panels cover a wide range of critical topics from globalization to cybersecurity. Personally, I believe in the mission of this conference, which is to promote a world that's more open, more prosperous, and fairer, and explore non-aggressive ways of adopting how states connect with each other at all levels, while respecting the culture and fundamental interests of each nation. In that respect, allow me to shed the light on a topic the agenda is missing and ask a critical question of collective security. How do we, in the MENA region, transition from managing crises to seeking comprehensive solutions? We were in New York a few weeks ago, and His Highness the Emir spoke to the United Nations General Assembly on the many challenges we face in the MENA region: crises, conflicts, transnational threats, diplomatic tensions, and violent interventions. We have witnessed a failure after failure of regional and multilateral organizations in solving conflicts, in addition to the failure or refusal to hold perpetrators accountable. Although the Middle East is a region of turmoil, we in Qatar view the Middle East as a critical region with global importance. It is the global intersection of air, sea, and lands, and even the birth of faith. In fact, we come from a dynamic energy hub, a pillar of international financial networks, and crossroads for human migration. Unfortunately, we also come from the same region that is largely divided, with scattered conflict areas and lack of trust and coordination. We ask time and time again, why are conflicts in the Middle East resistance to both regional and global diplomacy? Why some states allowed to resort to diplomacy of denial, rejecting the diplomacy as a legitimate mode of international action? We have witnessed firsthand how this strategy is highly destabilizing and creates a great uncertainty. Although this strategy is usually used by terrorist networks, warlords, and militias, we have seen the trend of diplomacy of denial among some states in the region, who wage war, blockade, and disrespect regional and international mechanisms. I recall His Highness the Emir remarks at the United Nations General Assembly that regional security system is crucial to preserve the security of the Middle East in general and the Gulf region in particular. During the Munich Security Conference, the Emir called for collective action to put differences aside. Similarly, in my last participation in World Policy Conference, I called for an enforcing mechanism to end conflicts. I'm here today to reiterate that call and to give a perspective on the importance of a regional security pact in the Middle East. The Middle East desperately needs a sustainable framework to ensure long-term peace and stability. The chain of events in our region demonstrated the practical utility to a coherent approach for regional collective security. What we need in the Middle East is collective regional binding mechanism based on agreed principles of security and a set of rules for governance, respect of sovereignty, and equality among its members. This means that all countries need to agree on a baseline of non-interference in the domestic and foreign affairs of states, and more importantly, not to use ethnic or confessional diversity and minorities as a scapegoat for interference. We have to build nations of citizens, hoping these initial steps would provide incentives and pave the way for the region peace and prosperity. Expanding the scope of the agreement is also important, so that it's not only limited to security issues, but also includes cooperation and dialogue, ones with economic and political dimensions, to build the trust and confidence among members. The unbalanced policy in the region and aggressive miscalculation are impractical over the past months and years. We have witnessed unprecedented tensions arising from miscalculations. The idea of playing off one against the other in a balance of power scenario is dangerous and puts Qatar and the whole region in a volatile situation. Instead of applying maximum pressure or exclusion, there is a greater prospect in collaboration and working together in containing threats within a regional collective security scheme. Without doubt, achieving stability in the Middle East is more likely if there is a foundation of stability in those countries who need support from friendly states. With a stable foundation, we can work hand in hand with those nations to advance trade, regional development, good governance, and the productive use of energy resources. The solution we are calling for is a wider regional security in the Middle East, an agreement on basic security principles and rules of governance to allow for peace and prosperity. Despite the gravity of the geopolitical tension, we still believe in this today. Thank you. Yeah, sure.